Okay, so this is a story about building the future. Not once, but twice. It kicks off where you might expect, in a California garage with a kid dreaming about virtual reality. But where it ends up, whoa, it's somewhere totally different. We're talking the absolute cutting edge of global defense tech. And the guy at the heart of it all, he's what you'd call an architect of momentum.
And that's really the big question we're diving into, right? How does a VR pioneer, I mean, the guy who basically started the modern revolution, get kicked out of his own empire, only to come back and build something even bigger in a, let's just say, much more controversial industry?
To really get this story, you gotta understand the person, and it all starts here. He's a gamer, a kid totally obsessed with virtual worlds.
But that obsession, it didn't just stay in his head. It turned into him becoming an inventor, messing around with circuits and lenses, trying to actually build the hardware to make those worlds real. And that invention, it led to this: billionaire status. I mean, we're talking staggering, industry-shaking success, the kind that makes a new Silicon Valley legend. And then the twist. He becomes an exile, a dramatic, very public exit from the very company he helped create. Because you see, this isn't just a story about some inventor. It's about an architect of momentum. And he was about to build something even more powerful. All right, so let's rewind. Let's go back to the very beginning. We're in a garage in Long Beach, California. This is where it all started. You know, Palmer Luckey was homeschooled, and that gave him something most of us never get: just uninterrupted time. And boy, did he use it. He used it like fuel, just diving headfirst into high-voltage electronics and these crazy ambitious projects. We're not talking about your average science fair volcano here. He was obsessed with pushing hardware to its absolute limits, making it do things it was never designed to do.
And what's just wild is the speed of it all. I mean, by his mid-teens, the guy's already taking college courses. A few years later, 2009, he's in that garage building his first VR prototypes. And then, the big one, the inflection point, 2012. The legendary programmer John Carmack gets his hands on one and shows it to the world. And just like that, boom, VR was no longer a joke. That demo lit a fuse, and it set the stage for a total explosion. This is the moment that garage project goes global.
So he launches a Kickstarter for his device, the Oculus Rift, and it just blows past its goal, right? Pulls in nearly $2.5 million. But here's the thing, it wasn't just about the money. Not at all. What that campaign really did was create a movement. Suddenly you had this whole ecosystem of developers building stuff for his device.
And that Kickstarter movement, it sent a shockwave through the tech world. And not even 2 years later, that shockwave was about to become an earthquake that changed the entire landscape for good. Bam! Facebook swoops in and buys Oculus for around $2 billion. Just think about that jump for a second. From a Kickstarter campaign to a multi-billion-dollar tech buyout. This is the exact moment this young inventor becomes a living symbol of Silicon Valley scale. But, this incredible success story, it doesn't last. The next chapter, Act 3, is all about turbulence. And, well, a pretty shocking exit. It's March 2017, only 3 years after that massive acquisition, and Palmer Luckey's career is about to hit a plot twist you couldn't make up. After a whole swirl of political controversy, he's out. He leaves Facebook. The founder is gone. It was messy, it was public, and it left everybody wondering, what happens now? What's next for the kid who basically resurrected virtual reality? Honestly, for a minute there, it really looked like that might be the end of the story. But nope, the story was far from over. Instead of fading away, Luckey pivoted hard. Later that same year, while the dust was still settling from his exit, he founded a new company, Anduril Industries. He was rebooting his entire career in a totally unexpected arena: defense. And this comparison just perfectly sums up the pivot. Think about it. Oculus was all about creating virtual worlds, building new realities from scratch. Anduril, on the other hand, is about perceiving the real world using AI, drones, autonomous systems for military and border security. It's a total 180, a complete reinvention, from gaming and entertainment to national security. And the scale of the second act? It's just staggering. By mid-2025, Anduril's reported valuation was somewhere around $30.5 billion. This completely reframes who Palmer Luckey is. He's not just some guy who invented a product. He's a builder of institutions. I mean, creating one company that defines a category is incredibly rare. To do it twice in two completely different fields, that's almost unheard of. And the crazy part is the trajectory just keeps pointing up. By early 2026, reports started popping up that Anduril was looking for a new funding round, one that could value it at over $60 billion. Just let that sink in. From a controversial public exit to building one of the most valuable defense tech companies on the entire planet. So what's the big takeaway here? When you really step back and look at the whole picture, you don't just see two separate successful companies. You start to see a pattern. And this is it. This is the Palmer Luckey formula. First, you spot a frontier that everybody else has ignored. He did it with VR, which, let's be honest, everyone thought was dead, and he did it again with defense tech, an industry full of slow, old-school companies. Then you commit way earlier than anyone else thinks is smart. You iterate faster than the market can keep up, and, this is the big one, you just keep going, even when the story turns against you. That's the pattern. And really, that's the ultimate story we're telling. It's not just about VR headsets or defense drones. It's a portrait of pure momentum that can survive a complete reinvention. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What happens when that kind of raw, obsessive talent just refuses to follow the script, even the one they wrote for themselves? Well, the answer seems to be, you get to build the future. Twice.